sector, stability but not prosperity. Bihar sleep washed under Lalu Rabri. Political stability finally came to Bihar under Lalu Prasad and Rabri Devi, but not prosperity. Those were the years when the state's income gap with India widened the most. Find Satul Thakur. Starting in 1660 to 61, that's when state-wise, when state-wise per capita income data become available, Bihar's politics still now can be divided into two broad categories. First 30 years of instability when no CM when no CM could complete their full term, and the next 35 years of stable politics when the chair was shared mainly between two political figures. Despite the dramatic change, the income gap between Bihar and other states kept on widening. Prosperity gap kept widening during Lalu Nitish years. Lalu Prasad became CM for the first time in 1990 and went on to give Bihar its first stable government in 30 years. For the next 15 years, the state was under Lalu Prasad and his wife Rabri Devi. They presided over the relative per capita income steepest fall from 42.4% of India in 1990 to 91 to 27.2% in 1998 to 99. Nitish Kumar, who succeeded Lalu and Rabri, reversed with reversed this trend and Bihar's per capita income grew faster than the national average. But that changed after 2019 to 20. In that year, Bihar's per capita income was 34.6% of the national average, which has now fallen to 31.9%. While other states spread ahead. In 1960 to 61, Bihar's per capita income was over 60% of Tamil Nadu's. That declined to 19% in 2023 to 24. Since 1960 to 61, most states have grown faster than Bihar, whose per capita income now is only 13% of Delhi's and 22% of Maharashtra's. Music memories amplify caste message in Bihar from Patna. In Bihar, caste and politics are inseparable, and social media has become the latest battleground across platforms. Supporters of political parties are deploying Bhojpuri songs and short video reels to spread caste-based messages. The state's caste arithmetic is alive and amplified online, often reduced to polarizing meme driving parodies backed by local singers, content creators, and individual party supporters. These videos, viewed by thousands and even lakhs, glorify specification caste groups, highlighting the enduring centrality of identity in Bihar's politics. The message is straightforward: elect a leader from your own community to secure your group's share of power. Pages dedicated to communities such as the Yadwas, Bhumihar, Brahmins, and Kushwaha have become hyper-local propaganda machines. Content range from slick memes to meticulously produced videos celebrating leaders based on lineage rather than governance. Development records often taking a back seat. RJD supporters, in particular, leverage music centered on the Yadav community to project unity and strength. Reels featuring RJD functionaries and popular Bhojpuri movie stars like Tejasvi Prasad Yadav and Kesari Lal Yadav have gone viral with songs. The message captured in the line एक तरफा बावोट लालटेन के one-sided vote for RJD symbol lantern equates RJD's victory with the political rise of the Yadav community, mobilizing the core vote bank under Tejasvi. On the opposing side, regions influenced by the Bhumi, Har, Babhan, and the Kushwaha communities are producing reels promoting the governing NDA as the protector of their interest. Many of these use dramatic background scores with jingles linked to the BJP and political strategist Prashant Kishore. Other slogans accompany video of influencing Bhumihar politicians such as Anand Singh, Narun Kumar, and Munna Shukla. The trend extends beyond these communities. Gurmit groups circulate memes highlighting Chief Minister Nitish Kumar's achievements over rivals, while the Nishant community rallies behind Mukesh Sahani, portraying him as the future Kevanhar, helmsman of Bihar. In a state where caste remains a powerful political currency, social media has turned identity politics into an interactive, highly visible, and increasingly polarizing spectacle where votes are counted as much through music and memes as through manifestos and development promises. Okay to land by Malwa set to get capital link. Malwa region of Punjab is finally on the way to get a direct rail link to Chandigarh after a wait of decades. The railway minister declared the project a special railway project under clause 37A of the Railway Act 2008, completion of which is vital for regional connectivity. A notification was issued to acquire 23.84 hectare of land in the district of Patiala. Sarabhai versus Sarabhai Satish Shah dead from Mumbai. News from Mumbai, Bollywood actor Satish Shah, whose very presence in films such as Jane Bhi Do Yaro and Main Hoon Na and sitcom Sarabhai versus Sarabhai LAC did smile and many a laugh died on Saturday. He was 74. Shah passed away at the residence in Bandra East. Ramesh Katatla, his personal assistant for over 30 years, said he died due to kidney failure. His health suddenly deteriorated at his home and he was taken to Hinduja hospital where he passed away. It is a huge loss for our industry. He was a jovial person, close friend and industry colleague, Ashok Pandit shared. In a statement, PD Hinduja Hospital and Medical Research Center said it received an emergency call regarding Shah's health earlier in the day. An ambulance was a medical team was sent to his residence where he was found to be unresponsive. CPR was started in the ambulance itself and continued on arrival at the hospital. Despite the best efforts, Mr. Shah could not be revived in the hospital said. Two OZ cricketers molested in Indore, one hand from Indore. The Australian women cricketer taking part in the ICC Women's Cricket World Cup were allegedly stopped and one of them was molested by a motorcycle-borne man here. Police said on Saturday. Police arrested the man Akil Khan involved in the incident that occurred in the Khajra Road area on Thursday. Reliance Meta to Inc. 855 crore rupees AI joint venture. From news from New Delhi, the two companies will be making this investment based on their shareholdings in Reliance Enterprise Intelligence Limited. Reliance Industries on Saturday announced that its subsidiary Reliance Intelligence Limited has established a joint venture with US tech giant Meta's subsidiary to market and distribute enterprise AI in India. A new company, namely Reliance Enterprise Intelligence Limited, has been formed as a joint venture with Facebook overseas farm fire tally in Punjab this year past 600. Punjab on Saturday reported 60 crop residue burning events, taking the total count so far this season to 621. Seven bodies found 2 months post landslide. Visa refusals surge in Canada. 8 killed as jeep plunges into ravine in Nepal. LIC denies report on $3.9 billion Adani deal. Investment calls taken after board approved politician policies. The insurer shared statements in Washington Post report appeared intended to undermine its well-established decision-making process and damage the institution's reputation along with the credibility of India's financial sector framework. News from Mumbai Life Insurance Corporation of India (LIC) on Saturday issued a detailed rebuttal to a Washington Post newspaper article that alleged government officials drafted a plan to steer billions of dollars of LIC funds into Adani Group companies. The state-owned insurer called the claims false, baseless, and far from true, stating no such documents or roadmap had ever been prepared within the organization for infusing funds into the conglomerate. LIC said its investment decisions are taken independently based on board approved policies and after detailed due diligence. Departments of Financial Services, DFS, or any other external body does not play any role in these decisions, it added. According to the statement, LIC follows the highest standards of due diligence and all investments are made in line with existing policies, statutory provisions and regulatory guidelines to protect interest of its stakeholders. The insurer said the statements in the Washington Post report agreed appeared speeding car plows through pedestrian in Agra kills five from Agra. Settled Nitish Kumar will lead NDA government in Bihar. Sanjay Jha from Patna. It is settled that Nitish Kumar will be the next chief minister if the NDA is voted again into government in Bihar. With all allies unanimous in the decision, National Executive President Sanjay Kumar Jha said on Saturday, "Tell me who is the chief minister right now." Nitish Kumar, all our allies have said this election is under the leadership of Nitish Ji. He is the face of this alliance, so the one who leads, on whose face we ask for votes, will lead government. If he was not, guess he is the CM and he is the face. It is a settled issue, he told STUI. Jha's assertion came a day after Prime Minister Narendra Modi endorsed Nitish's leadership of the NDA and praised him for developing the state after 15 years of Lalu Rabri governments, but stopped just short of declaring him the ruling alliance's CM face. Earlier, Union Home Minister Amit Shah, while saying that the NDA was contesting the polls under Nitish's leadership, had said that the issue of chief ministership would be decided collectively by NDA partners of after the polls. Jha and there was no trust deficit between BJP and JD and dismissed. The opposition claims that the Saffron Party would not make Nitish Kumar CM again. He also dismissed the suggestion that BJP was the big brother in the governing alliance, adding that all NDA countless constituents sat together and endorsed the number of seats to be contested by each of them. The NDA is contesting this election like never before. Dynamics change in every election. We have 45 MLAs, but we are contesting 101 seats equal to BJP, he said. Jha mocked the announcement of RJD leader Tejasvi Prasad Yadav as the Mahagathbandhan CM, saying one family in Delhi has endorsed another family in Bihar that he will be the leader. Elections have not happened yet, but portfolios are being distributed. Stubble solution failed. Too slow for fails, too bland for pilots. Punjab came out with 500 crore rupees action plan from Chandigarh. The success of Punjab's campaign against paddy stubble hinges on farmers' willingness to use in situ crop residue management (CRM) machinery and industrial tie-ups to use straw as raw material. Meanwhile, innovative solutions like applying biodecomposers to the straw or growing mushrooms with it remain on paper, check files or face action, official told. From Sangrur, Deputy Commissioner Rahul Chabba has announced a zero tolerance policy to curb paddy stubble burning in Sangrur district in an emergency meeting held at the district administrative complex's meeting hall. Chabba emphasized that cluster officers, nodal officers and police personnel must actively prevent stubble burning or face consequences. The meeting attended by SSP Sartaj Singh Chahal, Additional Deputy Commissioner Amit Bambi, SP, SDM, DSP, Cluster Officer, and other officials focused on stringent measures to address environmental pollution caused by stubble burning. Chapa instructed cluster officers to report any nodal officers who are reluctant to perform their duty, stating that non-compliance would lead to disciplinary action. He said stubble burning incidents are currently under close observation by the SC and central agencies. Time factor, the biodecomposer pilot project failed as it did not align with the farmer's tight schedule. The solution requires 20 to 25 days to decompose the straw, but farmers only have 10 to 20 days between the paddy harvest and the wheat strike. This time crunch made the decomposer impractical, leading to low adoption even after the 2022 pilot launch. Farm fires across 600 mark in Punjab, UP, state number 1. Bathinda, Punjab on Saturday reported 60 crop residue burning events, taking the total count so far this season to 621 in the last 24 hours. 14 districts of the state recorded stubble burning cases with a maximum of 21 in Karnataka. Again, 621 farm fire incidents still October 25 in the ongoing season. 1,749 cases were reported till the date in 2024, while 2,704 events were registered in the corresponding period in 2023. Out of the 621 stubble burning cases registered so far in Punjab, 199 were reported from Tarn district, 144 from Amritsar, 69 from February, 35 from Patiala, 29 from Gurdaspur, 28 from Sangrur, 22 from Kapurthala, 13 each from Bathinda and SAS Nagar, 12 from Fazilka, 2 from Jalandhar, 7 each from Faridkot and Moga. 6 each from Fatehbad to Fatehgarh Sahib and Bursars, 5 each from Barnala, Ludhiana, Mansard, 4 from Malenpur and 2 each from Hoshiarpur and SBS Nagar. Meanwhile, 26 more FIRs were registered against the violators on Saturdays, taking the total count to 241. Also, 46 red entries were made in the land records, pushing the count to 276. Further 53 show cause or warning notices were issued to the nodal officers or officials, taking the count to 338. As per the government record, rupees 90,000 environmental compensation was imposed on the violators on Saturday, taking the total compensation amount imposed so far this season to rupees 15.15 lakh, or of the rupees 90,000 environmental compensation levied on Saturday, rupees 70,000 recovered. So far, rupees 10.25 lakh has been collected from the violators. The FIRs were filed under Section 223 of the BNS, disobedience to order duly promulgated by Punjab Surveyed. Official data revealed that 52.28% of the paddy crop in the state had been harvested so far, as per the Consortium for Research on Agro Agroecosystem Monitoring and Modeling from Space 244. Trouble burning cases were recorded across 5 states on Saturday, raising the total count till October 25 to 2,403. Rajasthan recorded the maximum 115 stubble burning events on Saturday, even as UP remained at the top with a count of 783. UP was followed by Punjab 621, Rajasthan 473, MP 460, Haryana 63, and Delhi 3. Barca's injury crashes deepened as Refina ruled out of Clasico from Madrid. Australia clashed South Africa to set up semi-final with India from Indore. Gujarat reached Bengal on opening day from Kolkata. India aims to finish league stage on high versus Bangladesh from Navi Mumbai. Sydney showstoppers Morocco, Rana deny Australia a clean sweep as India win third ODI by 9 wickets. Under Gill and Gambhir, Rohit 3.0 takes guard. Hit with labor shortage. Young bodybuilders lift Japan's ailing care sector from Hishinomiya. Muscles building bodybuilder Takeyu Takuyai settles a woman into her wheelchair at Japanese care home where jacked genders are helping to ease labor shortages in a struggling industry. Zelensky urges US to broaden Zelensky urges US to broaden Russian oil curbs from London. Ukrainian President Vladimir Zelensky on Friday asked the US to expand sanctions on Russian oil from two companies to the whole sector and appealed for long-range missiles to hit back at Russia. Zelensky was in London for talks with 2 dozen European leaders who have pledged military help to shield his country from future Russian aggression if a ceasefire stops the more than 3 years war. The meeting, hosted by British PM Keir Starmer, aimed to step up pressure on Russian President Vladimir Putin. The talks also addressed ways of helping protect Ukraine power grid from Russians almost daily strikes as winter approaches, enhancing Ukrainian air defenses. Putin had clearly Dhamirwad said Friday he was in the US on an invitation from the US side for just one day while ago. US diplomats and troops to monitor Gaza truce. Rubio says from Jerusalem. Secretary of State Marco Rubio said Friday that a growing number of diplomats would work with US military officials at a new center in Israel aimed at monitoring the ceasefire in the Gaza Strip and the Trump administration maintains pressure on Israel to stick to the deal. Rubio made the remarks while touring the new facility, the Civil Military Cooperation Center on Friday in Kiryat Gate in southern Israel. There is going to be ups and downs and twists and turns, but we have a lot of reasons for optimism about the progress that's being made, he said. Rubio also reiterated that the Trump administration might seek a mandate from the United Nations for an international peacekeeping force in an at least first part of Gaza. Palestinian factions to hand Gaza to Technocrat Committee, the main Palestinian political factions, including Hamas, said Friday they have agreed that an independent committee of technocrats would take over the running of post-war Gaza. In a joint statement, the faction said the committee would manage the day-to-day affairs and basic services. It called for a meeting of all forces and factions to agree on national strategy and to revitalize the Palestine Liberation Organization as the sole representative of Palestinian people. French government faces threat of ouster or tax on rich from Paris. France's Prime Minister on Friday asked lawmakers to reach a compromise to pass an austerity budget. Booker Prize launches $50,000. Booker Prize launches 50,000 pounds Children Award. Britain's most prestigious literary prize is getting a younger sibling. Booker Prize Foundation announced Friday setting up the Children's Booker Prize alongside its existing awards for English language and translated fiction. Like its sister prizes, the Children's Award comes with £50,000, $57,000 plus. It will open for submission early next year, and the inaugural award will be handed out in 2027 by the winner picked by a jury of children and adults headed by writer Frank Corel. Boys Britain's current children bureau content boys whose books include the Carnegie Model winning million, said he was buzzing about the prospect. US expands military presence in Caribbean from Washington. Trump escalated the US military build-up in the Caribbean on Friday and announcing the deployment of the Gerald Ford aircraft carrier group. In US tariff talks, Brazil's rail Arce confirmed six truckers in US in hot seat after two crashes from Washington. Over 10, uh, over 100,000 immigrants, truckers from Indian from India are in the boat seat in the US after a sweeping federal audit conducted amid twin fatal crash plots involving Swift drivers showed widespread malpractice in issuance of commercial driving license. Department of Transportation, through its Federal Motor Carrier Safety Administration, recently announced findings from alongside along with audits revealing seven, several states issued CDLs to non-qualified applicants, including undocumented immigrants, to contravention of federal standards on legal status and English proficiency. Among the world flagged states, California, the audit found 25% or more of the non-domiciled CDLs issued in California were properly granted. Although the audits publicly disclosed numbers do not precisely tally all immigrants trucks of Indian origin to high-profile fatal crashes in California and Florida involving truck drivers later identified as undocumented immigrants from India have become flashpoints in the crackdown. In Florida, the Harjinder Singh case has drawn particular attention. Singh, described by Florida authorities as an illegal alien truck driver charged with killing three people in a crash in August, is now under investigation by Florida Attorney General. Official investigators say between March 10, 2023 and May 5, 2023, Singh failed his CDL test 10 times in the state of Washington. He also twice failed on air brakes knowledge test. Washington company that provided behind the wheel training attested he could speak English proficiency, claim Florida prosecutors say is false. The case had pitted Republican governed Florida against Democrat-run California and Washington State. The Florida Aegis office has sued the two states in SC asking the court to stop them from issuing CDLs to illegal immigrants. The Trump administration has also lashed out at California and Washington, backed by pressure from vociferous MAGA activists invoking families terror about migrants taking away American jobs, even though industry reports point to a shortage of truckers in US. US Transportation Secretary Sean Duffy has called the issue of non-domiciled CDL this national emergency. Canada too has joined in tightening issuance of CDLs to immigrants for many immigrant truckers from India. The developments feel alarming on the hand. Thousands of Indian origin drivers, many working legitimately, often in vulnerable employment situation, now face potential license revocation, job employment loss. On the other hand, a wave of heightened scrutiny threatens to spark xenophobic attitudes in the trucking industry and beyond. Local TV stations in Florida have also conducted sting operations purportedly showing immigrants, trucker applicants using English proficiency tests. Advocates warn the narrate undocumented immigrant trucker causes fatal crash can fuel discrimination against Indian truckers regardless of their legal status or safety record. Immigrant truckers of Indian origin say they are already facing suspicion at truck stops, more frequent stops by law enforcement, and a sense of being guilty, educated, and a sense of being guilty by association. The more educated Sikh driving cohort has sought to counter the stereotypes. Yes, we speak English. Yes, we understand the laws, the roads, the rules. We came here the right way. But sometimes when we stop at a rest area or fuel station, we feel the looks, the doubt, the distance. We are judged not by our hearts or our work, but by the mistakes of a few. That hurts because we are part of the same road, the same dream, the post great. heads to Asia amid shutdown. Xi meeting ahead triple includes stops in Malaysia, Japan, and South Korea. President Donald Trump headed for Asia Friday night for the first time this term. It took a trip where he is expected to work on investment deals and peace efforts before meeting face to face with Chinese President Xi Jinping to try de-escalate a trade war. We have a lot to talk about with President Xi, and he has a lot to talk about with this. Trump told reporters as he left the White House, I think we will have a good meeting. The president will have a long haul flight that has him arriving in Malaysia on Sunday morning. The first stop of ASEAN country explained his trip comes as the US government shutdown drags on. Many federal workers are set to miss their first full paycheck this week. There are flight disruptions as already accused air traffic controllers work without pay and states are confronting the possibility and federal food and would dry up as Republicans reject Democratic demands for health care funds. There is no sign of a break in the impasse, but Trump seems to be continuing on with business as usual, including his foreign trip. America is shut down and the president is stepping down. Senate Democratic leader Chuck Schumer said in a statement Friday night. Trump's first stop is at a regional summit in Kuala Lumpur. Trump attended the annual Association of Southeast Asian Nations Summit only once during his first term, but this year it comes as Malaysia and the US have been working to address a skirmish between Thailand and Cambodia. On Sunday, he is scheduled to have a meeting with Malaysian Prime Minister Anwar Ibrahim, followed by a joint signing ceremony with the Prime Minister of Thailand and Cambodia. Trump threatened earlier this year to withhold trade deals with countries if they did not stop fighting, and his administration has since been working with Malaysia to nail down an expanded ceasefire. The president credited Ibrahim with working to resolve the conflict. I told the leader of Malaysia, who is a very good man, I think of your trip, he told reporters abroad. Air Force One, the US leader on Sunday, they also have a significant meeting with Brazilian President Luiz Inácio Lula da Silva, who wants to scale the US due to 40% tariff on Brazilian imports. The US administration has justified the tariffs by citing Brazil's criminal prosecution of former President Jair Bolsonaro, a Trump ally. Beyond trade, Lula on Friday also criticized the US campaign of military strikes of the South American coast in the name of fighting drug trafficking. He said he planned to raise concerns with Trump at a meeting on Sunday in Malaysia. The White House has not yet publicly confirmed the meeting is set to take place after Malaysia. Trump has stops in Japan and South Korea. From there, Trump heads to Japan and South Korea, where he is expected to make progress on talks for at least $900 $900 million in Investment for US factories and other projects that those countries committed to in return for easing Trump's planned tariff rates down to 15% from 25%. The trip to Tokyo comes a week after Japan elected its first female prime minister, Sane Takuchi. Trump is set to meet with Takuchi, who is a protege of former Prime Minister Shinzo Abe. Trump was close to Abe, who was assassinated after leaving office. Trump said Takechi's relationship with Abe was a good sign and I took forward to meeting her. While there, Trump is expected to be hosted by Japanese Emperor Naruhito and meet with US troops who were stationed in Japan, according to a senior US official who was not authorized to speak publicly and spoke to reporters on conditions of anonymity about the planned trip in South Korea. Trump is expected to hold a highly anticipated meeting with China Xi on the sidelines of the Asia Pacific Economic Cooperation Summit. While the APEC summit is set to be held in Gyeongju, the Trump Xi meeting is expected to take place in the city of Busan, according to the US official. Taliban government plans ban on tuna river that flows into Pak from Kabul. Days after recent border clashes with Pakistan, Afghanistan, Taliban headed administration on Friday announced plans to begin construction of dams over the Tuna River. Venezuela made Indian voice as it's a great democracy, Mercado said. Nobel Prize winner Maria Corina Machado, being peaceful is not weakness, and Mahatma Gandhi showed the whole community what that means. Maria Corina Machado, winner of the 2025 Nobel Peace Prize, who had waged a marathon, marathon two-decade-long campaign for the restoration of democracy in Venezuela, has held India as a great democracy and an example for other countries. In an interview to Times Now from an undisclosed location she has been in hiding for 15 months, Mercado said India could be a great ally with whom Venezuela can strengthen ties on multiple fronts once a peaceful transition to democracy is achieved. Mercado also said she hoped to speak to PM Modi and host him in free Venezuela very soon about India's place in the world. Mercado said India has been an example for many countries for many generations of being the largest democracy in the region and in the world. This is huge, and we also have a responsibility to take good care of it because so many people, countries around the world look up to you. Democracies can always be strengthened and should never be taken for granted. I admire India with all my heart, Mercado said. My daughter was there just a couple of months ago, but I have never been to India. She loves your country. I have many friends, Venezuelan friends that live there, and of course, I'm for Indian. politics, Mikado shared she was inspired by Mahatma Gandhi's non-violent struggle for freedom. Being peaceful is not weakness, and Gandhi showed the whole humanity what that meant. We need India's voice as a great democracy to speak out for the rights of Venezuela people and popular sovereignty. I also want to imagine once Venezuela moves ahead and we dismantle all criminal socialist structures that have brought so much pain and devastation. There will be great opportunities for Indian companies to invest not only in energy but also in an infrastructure and telecom. McAdoo spoke in length about the 2024 presidential election. A verdict she alleged was stolen by the Venezuelan government under Nicolas Maduro, despite overwhelming documentary evidence of the opposition's victory. McAdoo recalled on July 28, 2024, we won a presidential election by a landslide. I had been previously elected as the primary winner to be the opposition candidate. I won with 93% of the votes, but the regime banned me from running as a candidate. So, a very courageous and honest man, a career diplomat, accepted this huge responsibility and honor. We won with 70% of the vote, and we were able to prove it. We gathered 85% of the original tally sheets. We digitized them. Once we won, we offered Maduro the possibility of a negotiated transition in which we offered verdicts, but he refused and unleashed the worst repression we have seen in our history. Thousands of innocent Venezuelans have disappeared. Children and women were abused, tortured, even killed. Machado also described US President Trump as a main ally in the fight for democracy in Venezuela. The whole world knows the kind of criminal these individuals are, but now with firm action on behalf of the US and the Trump administration and this coalition that has been building with countries in Latin America, in the Caribbean, in Europe, I hope in Asia as well. Maduro has started to understand that his time is over and that his best option is to accept the terms of the negotiated transition with guarantees that we have offered. Just awareness drives and just awareness drives and court orders wouldn't clean Delhi's air. Despite strong public health concerns and repeated judicial dictates, Delhi NCR had failed to implement not only the absolute ban on firecrackers, but also the rules restricting their rules, but also the rules restricting their use. Public residence has clearly weakened the will to implement such measures. This year too, the endless noise over crackers will die down soon, but this provokes a more fundamental question. What is the role of public awareness in promoting collective action for sustained air quality improvement across key sectors and reducing personal and societal harm? It is necessary to confront this now as several clean air solutions are expected to become more difficult and inconvenient and require stronger public support for implementation while public awareness is seen as a non-combative strategy. It can create strong public demand for clean air, but it needs to be enabled without alternatives. People can face barriers that weaken any lose. For instance, a campaign on using public transport cannot deliver if the transport system is unreliable and inconvenient, and personal vehicle usage is not adequately priced. Waste segregation in household is neglected. If the waste infrastructure for circularity is not well developed, in the absence of viable option, nudges can have minimal or short-term effects. Several clean air wins in Delhi have been possible when industry and other institutional stakeholders were mandated for large-scale system changes and capital investment for implementation. These include replacement of diesel vehicles with CNG vehicles, ban on coal and petcoke in industry, adoption of natural gas-based industrial technologies, closure of coal power plants, or expansion of metro systems and electric buses. On the other hand, lifestyle solutions that require numerous individual decisions face aggressive public resistance, which include changing modes of travel, paying higher taxes for polluting and energy inefficient products and activity, paying higher parking fees, allowing more road space to buses, restraining, restraining car usage, paying user charges to municipalities for waste management and more. Nudges are most effective when the solutions are convenient, reliable, and accessible. More data and evidence on health effects of air pollution in the public domain have certainly influenced the section of citizens to make informed choices, but a large section still resists and denies. While public support is needed for hard and inconvenient lifestyle solutions, awareness strategies must also not push the onus and burden of action to individuals and distract the attention from strong government action without adequate investments in alternative infrastructure. Nudging behavior has limited value as it cannot address systematic problems, institutional capacity, and resource requirements for clean air action. The cumulative impact of clean air action has bent the pollution curve in Delhi. But what more can Delhi do to ensure another 60% cut in PM 2.5 levels to meet the national clean air standards in a time-bound manner? The first comprehensive clean air action plan was directed by the Supreme Court in 2018, and that was followed by 2022 Clean Air Pollution of the Commission on Air Quality Management. Despite periodic reporting by the state governments on implementation, it is not clear if this plan have been adequately integrated with the departmental targets, standard operating procedures, and budgets to implement the priority measures at a scale in all the four NCR states. Time has come to go beyond short-term enforcement and emergency measures and the common minimum requirements to a more ambitious good practice approach. A strong monitoring mechanism has to track the departments concerned to assess clean air relevance of their budget line and alignment of fund disbursement with the clean air roadmap. This has to prioritize measures with a potentially high, medium, and low impact on air quality. Despite being the pollution epicenter, Delhi and the most NCR cities are not included in the performance-linked clean air funding of the 15th Finance Commission, while the National Clean Air Program grant remains small and underutilized. More aligned sector spending has to create assets and infrastructure to improve service level in all sectors. Waste cannot burn if the Swachh Bharat Mission 2.0 targets of discovering 80% of waste from landfill, 100% waste collection and segregation are met. Congestion cannot stop if the official benchmark for public transport services, walking and cycling infrastructure, and vehicle restraint measures are in place, mandating zero emission vehicles, electrification of industrial processes, clean household energy, and more can be a game changer. Therefore, it is necessary to pair the knowledge and awareness campaign with a firm regulatory action, financial and infrastructure measures, and mandates. Only this can inspire confidence, augment investment in clean air solutions, and build public support for strong clean air action. Trump card. Why India must move a superstar like Metadoors? A Euro farming from Diljit Dosanjh's new album to the quiz show ABC with word. This word has caught everyone's attention. But what does Euro farming mean? For starters, it has nothing to do with farming as we understand it. It is really about prospecting a cool vibe. Especially online, there is emphasis on curating this era or energy quite deliberately in order to gain attention. A lot of elements can go into it, including well-tailored outfits, eye-catching vacation, eye-card vacation, eye-catching vacation photos, carefully crafted captions, or dance moves that make everyone sit up and take note. Every curated move brings you Eura points, and the idea is to dig in as many as you can. No shiny trophy awaits you at the end of all this effort, but for some, the likes are worth it. Trump card. Why India must move AI superstars like Meta does. Human ingenuity has always driven great leaps in progress. The energy revolution following the discovery of oil was inconceivable without scientific insight, just as the industrial revolution depended on breakthroughs that culminated in the steam engine. Today, with the rise of AI and automation, the returns to human intellect have only intensified. Historically, regions that clustered hardworking, creative, and ambitious individuals have achieved sustained high growth. Western Europe during the Enlightenment, the US through much of the 20th and 21st century, and more recently parts of China. Today, India had a real opening created by the Trump administration curbs on high-skilled immigration. Indian leaders should seize this moment and marshal every resource to attract top talent. The indirect economy-wide effects of fostering an ecosystem of high-performing individuals are enormous. Consider a simple anecdote. On a trip to Darjeeling, we met Dinesh, a skilled driver who navigates hilly terrain almost instinctively. His work involves long, irregular hours, hazardous weather, and dangerous roads. Yet his earnings are modest in contrast in Hyderabad. Harish Dev, Harish does short family trips and food deliveries in his spare time. He works 12 hours in safer condition, yet earns several times more than Dinesh. Worried for unpredictable US SC nationally look to India as a steady partner. By invitation, Anil Wadhwa, Once again, it is the season for the clustered diplomatic marathon with Asian and East Asia summits kicking off in Kuala Lumpur from Sunday. As Southeast Asia struggles to manage great power competition and cope with US tariffs, Malaysia as the current chair is seeking to ensure centrality to grouping role with focusing on stability and economic recovery. India will look to reinforce its Indo-Pacific presence, rejuvenate trade and strategic ties in Asian and recalibrate equations with the US, China and other key players in the increasingly multipolar Asia. Indians accept mortality, yet there is this urge to cover up terminal illness. Dr. Rajana Srivastava is a medical oncologist who practices in Australia, is an award-winning writer and columnist who advocates for better doctor-patient communication and palliative care. Dr. Srivastava talks to Rama Nagarjuna about why end-of-life care must be at the heart of good medicine and how her roots in Bihar continue to shape her practice. Decoding the puzzle of India's low murder rate. India's murder rate had fallen to its lowest level since data were published in 1657. Moreover, India has among us the lowest murder rates in the world. The National Crime Records Bureau's latest report, Crime in India 2023, says murders per lakh population were 2.6 per lakh in 1957, but then rose and peaked at 5.2 per lakh in 1992 after militancy increased in Punjab, Kashmir, Assam, and the Maoist tribal belt. It has since fallen steadily to 2.3 per lakh in 2023. Hulda crimes are grossly underreported in India and elsewhere, but murder is well documented. Dead bodies are difficult to ignore, and police give up priority to murder cases. The curbing of militants in 1992 has greatly helped. Police stations have expanded, especially in the Maoist belt, and modern surveillance systems like CCTV cameras have helped to. The United Nations and World Bank report that worldwide homicide rates have fallen almost everywhere. Remarkably, India is among the safest countries. The murder rate is highest in South Africa, 34 per lakh population, followed by the Brazil, 22.2. Even advanced states such as Russia, 7.3, and the US, 6.4 have higher rates than India. The safest are China, 0.5, and Japan, 0.3, according to latest data. Indian complain about a lousy police judicial system that delivers no justice. How then is India not to do? India is much poorer than SA or Latin American country. Some analysts offer cultural explanation which are rarely accurate. India does not have a low murder rate because of the peaceful tradition of Buddha and Ashoka. It is a land with all sorts of violence. Yet social evolution in India and most Asian countries given them less crime even if they are poor and badly policed. World Bank economist Hans Binswanger Makwiza told me he had struck by the remarkable difference between payment hawkers in SA and India. In India, hawkers have over payments to illegally sell an infinite variety of goods. Some risk their lives, settling their way through cars and crowded traffic lights. Dharwin, among the world's largest slums in Mumbai, has become a hub of small manufacturing. But in Soweto, the huge black district of Johannesburg, the payments have no hawkers. Fear of crime. Fear of crime means before of South African will never stop at Soweto or open their windows to buy from a street hawker. Gangs rule different party of Soweto and plunder rather than encourage small businesses and Indian businessmen from Nigeria told me that thieves steal his car and home appliances every few months and the police do nothing. His company told him to let the thieves steal and replaced his car and appliances after each theft. It was part of normal life in Lagos. As for Brazil, see the film City of God, shot in an actual slum is Rio de Janeiro, showing the harsh reality of gangster rule. Indian hawkers complain of official harassment but not crime. They say they have to pay the local police hafta, which they think is reasonable and gets them protection. The fruit seller near my residence said he had fruit worth rupees 65,000 in his cart. In the evening, he simply covered his cart with a plastic tarpaulin, secured it with ropes, and was home. He has no fear of theft. A vegetable seller tells me the same thing. India is full of gangs and theft of public goods. Anything made of steel or other metals that can be sold to the community is stolen, such as iron, manhole covers, or copper from transformers, but not fruit and vegetable. Gangsters sometimes extort protection money from small businesses. Research by Prashant Narang of the Center for Civil Society shows that property rights have evolved in illegal spaces on the pavement. The owner of a space can operate, sell, or rent it, and all other hawkers and tourists respect that. People cooperate to create a market system that enables all to earn decent living in peace. This is totally unlike the crime-ridden system of Africa and Latin America, so similar to most other Asian countries. Economist Vancouver Olson showed how power and money evolved in societies. They typically begin with rowing bandits who attack for plunder, often killing their victims. Bigger bandits who sometimes call themselves king become what Olson called stationary bandits. They find it more profitable to aid in plunder and killing while encouraging commerce with gas and regular taxes. Rowing bandits still thrive in Latin America and Africa, but India is a land of stationary bandits including politicians, bureaucrats, police, and gangsters. This helps explain how low murder rate, even though upper caste oppressors still kill Dalits and grooms still burn bribes for dowry. Glam, shame, inside India's booming small town pageant scene. Contestants are often promised music albums or magazine feature, and then the organizers print a 20-page magazine themselves just to scam them The name Miss India has been copied hundreds of times, creating confusion. Beauty pageant organizer Nikhil Anand says, behind every tiara is a story of hustle, hope, and heartbreak. EMI nation, many Indians are shopping their way to debt. Healthcare expenses are one of the biggest areas of credit fueled spending today. Instant loan F5, which typically lends up to 5 lakh rupees at an interest of 18% and upward, has disbursed loan for everything from IVF procedures and hair transplants to slimming and diabetic reversal treatment. What champagne and cash burn today's date founder Dipendra Goyal. Things had also spiraled out of control with teams throwing lavish community events at high-end bars and restaurants, handing out expensive bohemian crystal champagne glasses etched with the Zomato logo. Vivek stated at the expense reports for long without people, he asked, assuming who even drinks champagne from a branded glass. Reinstatement of Yani Gargas as Jathedar of Akal Takht drives ire from Amritsar. Gargas honored, but Damdami Taksal ahead skips event. Gargas was publicly honored through ceremonial gestures from multiple Sikh sects, marking a new level of recognition for his leadership from Patiala. Drunk youth assaults corporate heritage street. The video of the incident, which went viral, voice shows the ASI twisting the men armed in self-defense from Amritsar. Aggressive publicity to US news shared concerning ex-MP from Amritsar incident is being sensationalized in a manner that unfairly targets the Sikh community, Singh says. Explosives and heroin seized during joint out from Amritsar. Khalra wife bats for Varish Punjab candidate from Tarntaran. Ahead of Tarntaran by-polls, two Kong leaders were BJP from Chandigarh. The lies to acquire land for Rajpura Mohali Naib Punjab government has to appoint arbitrator from Bathinda. All thanks to Modi, says Mittu. Bride dies of cardiac arrest hours before her wedding from Bathinda. Family members said Pooja was engaged to a boy from Rawike village who was working in Dubai. The boy had returned from Dubai a few days ago. Means kick-start events to mark Guru's 35th martyrdom anniversary from Chandigarh. The series of events to commemorate the 35th martyrdom anniversary of Guru Tegh Bahadur Sahib commenced on Saturday with Punjab cabinet ministers performing ardash at Gurudwaras Shishganj Sahib in New Delhi. The commemorative events beginning Saturday will span most of November, culminating at Anandpur Sahib on November 25. A special session of Vidhan Sabha dedicated to the Guru will be convened there on November 24, where eminent personalities will share their thoughts from number 1 to 18. Light and sound shows will be held in all districts of Punjab, depicting the life and teachings of the Guru. On November 18, a Kirtan Darbar will be organized at Srinagar, and the next day, a Nagar Kirtan will commence from Srinagar, in which Kashmiri Pandits will also join the congregation. It will reach Anandpur Sahib on November 22. On November 20, there three Nagar Kirtans will start from Takht Sri Damdam Sahib, Talwandi Sabo, Faridkot, and Gurdaspur, and all will culminate at Anandpur Sahib on November 22. The ministers who offered prayers on Saturday included Harjot Singh Bain, Harbhajan Singh, Tarunpreet Singh, Son, Gurmeet Singh Khudian, Barinder Kumar Goyal, Hardeep Singh Mandian, Aman Arora, Balbir Singh, Lok Sabha MP, Rajkumar Sabewal, Rajya Sabha MP, Vikramjit Singh Sahani, MLA Kuldeep Singh Dhaliwal, and Advisor Tourism Deepak Bali were also present. The minister said on interfaith conference will also be held, symbolizing the Guru's message of harmony and universal faith. They said that the sacred city will further host a special exhibition and a drone show highlighting the life and teachings of Guru Tegh Bahadur. Maharashtra CM invited to attend events. Punjab Minister Harjot Singh Bain and Deepak Bali, Advisor Tourism Department, have invited several prominent personalities across the country to attend the religious ceremonies at Shri Anandpur Sahib to mark the 35th martyrdom anniversary of Guru Tegh Bahadur Ben, along with Bali, visited Maharashtra to extend a special investigation to Chief Minister Devendra Fadnavis for participation in the commemorative events. During the meeting with the CM, Ben and Bali shared their reflection, reflection on the unparalleled martyrdom of Guru Tegh Bahadur and presented a formal invitation to Fadnvis. Ben said the martyrdom of Guru Tegh Bahadur Sahib served as a source of inspiration for all humanity and that events would symbolize national unity and brotherhood. A large number of eminent personalities from India and abroad are expected to attend the religious ceremonies to be organized at Shri Anandpur Sahib. The Punjab government is making extensive preparations for grand religious events dedicated to the 35th martyrdom anniversary of Guru Tegh Bahadur. HP Cabinet approves reorganization and delimitation of panchayats. Sukhu avoiding civic walls from Shimla. Every penny from center will reach HP from Shimla. Shimla Flying Festival takes off from Shimla. 2 opium ganja from Nissar. 5 houses gutted in 5 from Shimla. Shimali schools gear up for anti-drug derived from Shimla. Federal government not buying paddy cotton at MSP from Nissar. Foreign bill from Northeast beckons. Northeast is preparing for its traditional festive season, starting with a 10-day long Hornbill Festival on December 1, followed by Kashmir. It is appropriate to turn attention to the neglected and remote but sensitive region of our country. This is time when families and tribes get together and take stock of things. The ultimate Tanggul Naga rebel, moving 91 years old, has made his way back to his village. Child's death in accident can't be treated as that of non-earner. High Court says following an appeal, the total compensation for a minor's death in Sirsa has been enhanced from rupees 3.59 lakh to rupees 8.8 lakh with interest rates to 9% per annum. The High Court directed the insurer to deposit the enhanced amount with interest within 2 months. From Chandigarh, Punjab and Haryana High Court had made it clear that the death or permanent disability of a minor child in a motor vehicle accident cannot be equated with that of a non-earning individual for the purposes of computing compensation. The reason is obvious. The child, by virtue of tender age, is not engaged in gainful employment and therefore any rigid categorization as a non-earner would not only be artificial but would also defeat the very object of just compensation under the Motor Vehicle Act 1988 High Court clarified. The High Court also held that in such cases the proper cause for determination of compensation under the head of loss of income is to adopt at the very least the minimum wages notified for a state worker in the state concerned at the relevant time. Justice Sudeep Sharma passed these orders while allowing an appeal filed by Sonia, resident of Sirsa district in Haryana. The appeal challenged the motor accident claim tribunal Sirsa's award dated July 24, 2012, which granted rupees 3,59,365 along with 7.5% annual interest as compensation for the death of a minor child in a road accident on December 14, 2010. The appellant contended that the amount was too low and sought enhancement in line with evolving judicial standard, applying the formula of minimum wages notified for a skilled worker in the state of that time. The monthly national income of the deceased minor was accordingly assessed at rupees 500. After hearing all the parties, the judge ordered to enhance the total compensation to over rupees 8.8 lakh and the interest rate to 9% per annum payable from the date of filing the claim petition until realization. The court directed the insurer United India Insurance Company Limited to deposit the enhanced amount with interest within 2 months and instructed the tribunal to disburse it to the claimant as per the original appro- apportionment order. Taki Reading filing withdraw dies in accident from Bangalore. Electricity and Reality Justice Khan's Haryana village. After serving as High Court judge for over 14 years, he was elevated as Chief Justice of Himachal Pradesh High Court on October 5, 2018. On the May 24, 2019, he became a Supreme Court judge. Electricity was a reality in his native village, Patwan. He recalled and fondly remembered studying at night with other friends, huddled together under dim lamps, driven solely by the hope of securing a government job, a goal that he said inspired him to persevere through every hardship. Born on Feb 10, 1962, Justice Surya completed his early education from Patwar and completed LLB in 1984 from MDU Rohtak. He started as a lawyer at his Hisar district court before moving to Chandigarh to practice at Punjab and Haryana High Court. Justice Surya became the youngest Advocate General AC of Haryana at the age of 38.5 years. In 2004, aged just 42, he was elevated as a judge of Punjab and Haryana High Court. Even then, he continued his academic pursuit, securing first class first in his master's degree in law in 2011 from the Directorate of Distance Education to Kshetra University. After serving as High Court judge for over 14 years, he was elevated as Chief Justice of Himachal Pradesh High Court on October 5, 2018. On May 24, 2019, he became a Supreme Court judge. In his around 14 years stint as High Court judge in Chandigarh, Justice Surya passed several landmark judgments, including the right of jail ailments to have conjugal visits or artificial insemination for progenies. He also set aside several land acquisitions after finding nexus of politician and builders in Haryana, especially in the NCR area. As High Court judge, he passed an order in case where the husband had killed his wife while punishing the guilty. He noticed that the accused had four daughters. He then personally spoke with the principal of college and requested for free education for the eldest daughter. In Punjab and Haryana High Court, he was part of the full bench that ordered sanitization of the controversial Sirsa-based Dera Sirsa Soda in 2017. In Punjab and Haryana High Court, he was part of the full bench that ordered sanitization of the controversial Sirsa-based Dera Sirsa Soda in 2017 following the violence erupted after imprisonment of Dera chief in rape cases and also ordered central agencies to probe financial irregularities inside Dera. He also served as a member of the governing body of the National Legal Services Authority from 2007 to 11, and in Supreme Court he was part of the benches that passed several landmark judgments. In his brief tenure as Chief Justice of High Court, Himachal High Court, he focused primarily on administrative reforms and improving judicial efficiency. He reaffirmed that access to basic amenities such as water and electricity constitute an integral part of the fundamental rights to life enshrined in the Constitution. Net aspirant from Odisha found dead in Kota, hostage from Kota. Top 3 million nodal bodies to be integrated to streamline information from New Delhi. Karnataka High Court rejects RTA plea for passport details. From Bengaluru, High Court racks judges for yielding to lawyers. Gujarat High Court said judges yielding to intimidation or